What's going on, everybody? Quick message. There is always this idea that we have to separate church and state. But all throughout the Bible, whether it was Daniel, Paul, the disciples with Jesus, they had to deal with the government. I want to talk to you guys about this election coming up. And a lot of times, people always talk about politics and what side they're on and this and that and the other. When I look at politics, I'm doing a little study on it now. But when I look at politics, I believe we do play a role in what in a role when it comes to voting and things of that nature, and just contributing to what our society or wherever we're staying is doing. We have to contribute as citizens. So now, listen to me. First off, we are citizens of the kingdom. Citizens of the kingdom. And whenever I make decisions, I base them on biblical standards, the standards of God. What does God look for? Now, when you look at both sides of our election, you look at the Democratic side and the Republican side, both have some good things, and both you could argue has things that are a little, skeptical. Looking, I've seen this thing about, voting for the less of two evils. When you look at all of us, as the world is evil, all of us have flaws. All of us, have these things that we have to work on. All of us need help. All of us need the Lord. None of us are perfect. But when you look at one side versus the other, just the big picture of what they are pushing, what one side is pushing, what the other side is pushing, you can kind of vote for a certain side that looks to be more God-like, looks to be more in line with biblical tradition and biblical doctrine. Am I trying to say these people are, is that side perfect? No. Is the other side perfect? No. But one side is pushing for more Christ-like things than the other. Another side is pushing for anti-Christian type of deals, anti-Christ policies. And can that flip-flop in the future? Yes, it can. But right now, I believe we have an obligation, man, to really do our part in trying to be the salt in this world. That is, preserve righteousness in everything, whenever we can. And if we see policies that are trying to rid Christianity, trying to rid the freedom of speech, that promotes abortion, that promotes gender dysphoria, you can kind of clearly see where Christians need to be voting. But I see this thing in our community, in the Christian community, where most Christians tend to want to take a back seat. They say, hey, I don't deal with politics. We don't deal with politics. We don't vote. A lot of preachers say they don't vote. A lot of preachers, but they say they don't vote, but they'll push the congregation's vote a certain way. And a lot of these churches now that I'm hearing, they are pushing actually for anti-Christian policies. And I'm just going to say it. The Democratic side right now is pushing for a lot of anti-Christ policies. I even call them the demoncratic, because it seems like it's something controlling the narrative now for that Democratic Party. And it does not have Christ at the center. Does not have God at the center. When you look at abortion, when you look at calling this gender dysphoria normal, when you promote and when you continue to add fuel to somebody's mental health, to me, that is really wrong. If a person says that, if a baby or a toddler looks at TV and sees somebody doing drugs and say, hey, I'm a drug addict, you know, are you going to support that baby's habit, that toddler's habit, just because they say that they feel a certain way or they want to? No, you're going to help that person the best way you can by getting them help, by getting them some type of treatment or the truth, mainly the truth. And I know that it might be a bad analogy, but just because somebody says that there's something doesn't mean that it's true. You know, it's so many things that are upside down right now. Right is being called wrong and wrong is being called right. And I'm looking at the media. It's so biased right now. You know, it's so one way. And I've never seen nothing like this. I remember growing up and the media didn't choose sides. They just told the story. But right now there's a big narrative being pushed, and it's pushing for something that is not like Christ. I'm telling y'all. And I know I have pretty intelligent followers, man. I know y'all see it too, where something is not right. You can tell, I can tell something is not right. And the way the propaganda is going, and the way, you know, media, I would say the Democratic Party has the media in the palm of its hands. And it is pushing everything. It's making everything Republican negative. You know, even saying that, you know, people that serve God are too, what was the word they used? Sensitive. You know, they're saying like we're the majority, so why are we complaining about the rights of other people who are the minority? But when the rights of the minority infringe on the rights of the majority, and this supposed to be a United States, a place where everybody's views are being heard, is not the case. Even with this channel and with small YouTube channels that are pushing the truth, we can't even get through to algorithm, you know, because stuff is being blocked, stuff is being banned, freedom of speech. I seen a couple of my videos where some of the words that I said were blanked out without me even doing it. And I'm like, wow, you know, so freedom of speech is at stake. People, I'm gonna say this. If people don't wake up, the livelihood that they have is going to disappear overnight. You know, a lot of people on this Democratic side, they look for handouts. They look for somebody to see them as a victim. They want to get paid. They want to do stuff, and you know, they want to get stuff but not do anything for it. And when I was younger, I was on that side. I felt like a victim. I felt like, you know, nothing, you know, that we were being hoodwinked and this and all of that. You know, I just followed the narrative. I followed whatever CNN told me. You know, I used to rally. I used to go out and protest and all type of stuff. But then I woke up, you know, and when you get to know God, I'm telling you, and you get to know God's word, and when you see things in the Bible that says if a man doesn't work, he shouldn't eat. You know, I can see if a man was incapacitated, handicapped, or something, okay. But it's a lot of healthy guys out here, a lot of healthy women out here that are just taking money, taking, and not giving anything to the society. And that creates inflation, creates a lot of things that's going on in our world. Now, the poor, the Lord said, will be with us always. And that's true. And we have an obligation to help the poor and the needy. But some people out here are just taking, and that's not right. And that's something that the Democratic side likes. Another thing with abortion, with women's rights, right to choose. When you look at that and when you base it on biblical things, if you're not married, if you're not able to, do things, you shouldn't have sex. Shouldn't be doing the things that create a baby in the first place, especially if you're not married. So it's so many things that I could talk about. Don't want to prolong the video. Probably make some more videos talking about this issue and how this thing is going down really fast. And people, it seems like people are blind, like have blinders on to what's going on. I hope this hasn't been too long, but I'm going to come back with some more messages and talk about this later.